Hi, this is Dennis with your Choices History Channel moment. And today I wanted to talk to you about lies our fathers told us. In other words, things scientists have said that turned out not to be true. There's quite a list of them, and I won't be able to cover them all in our brief time together, but I can cover some. And I want to start with my own childhood memory of dinosaurs. Now, when I was a little boy, I wanted to be an archaeologist. I eventually became a history teacher, but I diverted from archaeology because my father explained to me when I was a teenager that archaeologists are paid like school teachers and work like ditch diggers. And so I moved off in other directions. But I remember being fascinated by dinosaurs, like a lot of little boys and girls are, and really wanted to do paleontology, digging up chicken bones in my backyard and things like that. But the dinosaurs we were told about, and I remember this very clearly, films in school, we were told that dinosaurs were cold-blooded reptiles that were big and clumsy and so stupid they could barely eat and reproduce. And they lived mostly in shallow lakes and swamps to support their great weight. Now, of course, scientists tell us that's all wrong, that dinosaurs, in fact, are big chickens. They're much more related to birds in the modern world, and they had bird-like habits and bird-like attitudes, and some of them were warm-blooded, and they were very diverse, and they weren't at all like what we thought. And in looking back at my research, I discovered the first scientists who noticed this were ridiculed by the other scientists, ostracized by them, and a lot of them had difficulty in their career paths because they're saying, no, you're wrong. My favorite lie that scientists told us was this one. It's kind of gross, but it was simply a part of life. There was a time when doctors thought it was a perfectly acceptable idea to perform an autopsy on a deceased, obviously decayed body, and then go and deliver a baby without washing your hands. And if the woman got an infection and died, well, it was probably because of bad air. This was a commonly held belief throughout the world, and the first doctor who began to stand up against that and just say, hey, wash your bloody hands, was ostracized and fired and ridiculed and mistreated throughout his career. We'd always have it right. And scientists tend to feel like they can't be challenged, and a lot of smart people are that way. Because they're right most of the time, they must be right all the time. It doesn't always work out that way. Another way it didn't work out is in the 1920s and 30s, the biggest concern doctors had for pregnant women was it would gain too much weight. So they determined the best thing to do was for pregnant women to smoke, because smoking kept down the weight during pregnancy. It also damaged the fetus and caused all kinds of health problems for the mother and the baby, but hey, it kept your weight down. You didn't get fat. And they highly recommended that. I have seen ads with doctors recommending Chesterfields as being a better cigarette. We learn and we grow, but it's the stubbornness sometimes where when we're in the midst of that growth, we're not able to say, gee, we might be wrong. The next favorite thing of mine along this way is pasta. I can remember when suddenly pasta was the miracle food. People were buying homemade pasta makers, and everybody was eating pasta. It was super healthy for you. And then the diabetes rate went up. Oops. Too many carbs. Here's the scariest part for me. What are we doing right now, today, that 20 years from now, or 30 years from now, or 40 years from now, we're going to look back and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe we did that. That's so stupid. Why did we listen? My father taught me a very valuable lesson. He was a very good scholar, and he used to say, at this point in my study, this is what I think. But with more study, I might change my mind. And I think that's a good, humble attitude for us all to have. To do the best we know how to do with what we know, but be open to the fact that we may not always be right. Well, thank you for tuning in to another Choices History Moment. I'm your host, Dennis. If you enjoy these videos, like and subscribe to our channel so we can get together again. I appreciate you. Thank you.